Hi guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so, and I'm really pleased about to bring you this watch. It's another Baltany. Baltany are one of my favorite brands. I've got a really good working relationship with them, and they just produce outstanding watches, don't they? Let's be honest. The watches they produce, they tend to sit in the sort of sphere of sort of vintage aesthetic, and I love that for them. They do some excellent stuff. This one's no different. You'd have seen this sort of very similar watch with the fluted bezel. This one's just got the fixed bezel. But I'm never going to turn down having a Baltany on the channel. I'll do my best to get as many of them in as possible, because I think there's very few brands out there, whether it be on AliExpress, whether it be the micro brand space, that offer better value for money when you consider what you're getting and how well made these watches are. And like I said, at the vintage sort of style they do, I don't think another brand's doing it better in that space. So, big build up. Does this watch live up to all that? Because I've said before, Baltany's one of my favourite brands. They keep knocking out the park. I've not had one in that I've not liked so far. Let's hope it continues in that vein. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description. There's also a few other links because they've got an Amazon store now. They've also got their own website. So do feel free to use whichever one works best for you. But we're going to get there together. I'm going to go through all the stuff. Hopefully it helps you to make an informed decision. But I'm optimistic it's going to be another banger, to be honest. But sit back, relax, get yourself a nice beverage, a nice brew, because it's about that time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Alright guys, here's the watch. Usual sort of packaging, Baltany. I've said before, I quite like it. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. 3 links off for it to fit my wrist. Instruction manual, warranty card, cleaning cloth, tool, all in that little, well not little, quite a wide envelope, because obviously you've got to fit everything in. Comes with a watch roll, which I've said also before, I'm here for. I like the fact that it's something that you can repurpose, reuse, rather than just a box that's just going to sit there and never be touched again. And there's the watch. So here we are, guys. This is the watch. A beautiful piece. You'd expect nothing less from Baltany nowadays, would you? But so this is the model. The model number for this is the S4095. A few different colours to choose from, which you'll see now. Obviously, I wanted the silver dial with a two-tone, but there's a few options to choose from. So I'm sure you'll find something in keeping with your taste. But for me, Baltany are just amazing at what they do. Homage and sort of more vintage-inspired pieces, and they execute it fantastically. Inside the watch, it's an automatic movement. It's a Seiko NH35 movement. I've been information up about the movement, and yeah, I've featured this movement so many times now. I think the movement is fantastic, especially for sort of affordable sort of style watches. If the prices creep above sort of £200, maybe you'd want something a bit nicer. But generally, yeah, not bad. 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour, 41 hour power reserve. And this one's running about bang on time. So, I mean, I can't complain. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal and the Cyclops, is all 316L stainless steel. You've got a bit of a coating for the gold. But, so the bezel, crown, case back, solid endings, bracelet and clasp, all 316L stainless steel. And the coating they've put on, the gold coating, has been executed really nice. I like the brushing, but Baltany generally do outstanding stuff with their finishing, with the brushing and polishing. You'll see it on the case and stuff. Very nice. Some of the best mirrored polishing as well you'll get at an affordable price. But there we are. The case thickness of the watch is 11.4 millimeters. When you include the Cyclops, that was becoming 12.4. Generally, yeah, a mil for the Cyclops is about bang on. The case diameter I measured from the 8 to the 2. It was coming in at 36.2 millimeters. When you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it was coming in at 38.6 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20. That does taper down to 16 and back up to 18.5 at their fully milled clasp. And the lug-to-lug tip, the tip of the watch, is a true lug-to-lug, given it's got a female end link to the center link. And it's coming at 43.3 millimeters. So good proportions, good dimensions. Homage in a slightly smaller watch. So yeah, good proportions, true to the watch's homaging. So there we are. The bezel is a nice gold, high polished bezel. You've got the crown over at the 3 with Baltany on there. Gold as well. Screw down case back. A little bit tricky to open. You need one of those sort of Rolex inspired toolkits that obviously can undo the case, but I haven't got that. But yeah, that's what you need. The bracelet itself, as I said before, 4 mils of taper, screw pins just to make it easy to size out. But the finishing and the crystals on their watches nowadays is just unbelievable. But yeah, nicely done screw pin stainless steel, fully milled clasp. You've got 4 levels of micro adjustment on there, signed on the clasp as well. But generally, the stuff they're doing is just unreal. I love the finishing. I just love it. I love the crystal clarity you get for these watches. Really, really cool. The crystal covering the dial, where we are talking about the crystal, is sapphire crystal, as is the Cyclops, which is a nice touch. I've had watches in around the same sort of price point where they've put sapphire crystal and you've got a mineral crystal Cyclops. So yeah, I'm pleased to report that's not the case with this watch. The water resistance of the watch is cited as being 100 meters. So that'd give you 10 atmospheres of water resistance. And the weight will appear in the top right. So with those 3 links removed, it was coming at 122.2 grams. With those 3 links back in, probably about 140-ish. But yeah, not too bad with heft, given the proportions of the watch. But let's have a look at the dial in a bit more detail, because I think the dial was stunning. I really like this silver dial that's going on. Really, really nice. You've got a minute track going around the outer edge. You've got gold indices everywhere. So you've got the B Baltany logo at the 12 o'clock position, which I really do like. It looks quite elegant, doesn't it, in terms of how they've designed it. You've got battens everywhere else. You've got nothing at the 3 o'clock, given that's where the date is. You obviously got a Cyclops covering the date. I'm not amazed, and I don't really like Cyclopses. Generally, I don't think they serve a purpose, because unless it's sort of flat to your face when you're looking at it, you can't see it most of the time, so I don't see it having a purpose. But the Cyclops on this is done very, very well. Zoomed in, very well centered. Yeah, it does the business. But like I said, gold indices everywhere else. You got Baltany printed on in uppercase just below the logo at the 12. 330 feet equals 100 meters. Just above the batten at the 6. Nice proportions on the hands. Nicely gold throughout, as is the indices, as I mentioned. I love the light play you get from the indices, predominantly because they're high polished. I do like having different facets on my hands and indices, but that's not the case here. But you don't really need it. Very, very elegant watch. These of the light nicely. And really, Baltany, again, just nail these types of watches. I'm not saying they're going to be for everybody, but I think a lot of people appreciate what Baltany do, myself included. And now you're wondering, Cy, this watch looks outstanding. What's the loom saying? So, unfortunately, guys, this is the only area on the watch that wasn't as good as I would have expected. It isn't a dive watch. It's not a military watch. It's a dress watch. So, I mean, you can half understand why that might be the case. But with the watch being as it is, I do think it's been slightly let down in terms of the loom. I think the loom could and should have been a little bit better, especially with the watch being as nice as it is. Really, really stunning piece. But the loom just isn't really up to it generally in terms of what I was expecting. I've had other Baltanys as well, similar style of watches with far better loom, but unfortunately that's not the case here. In terms of the movement, if I take the crown all the way out, you'll see it will hack. See the second hand has stopped. If I scroll through, we'll see where it changes over. Sort of a few minutes to midnight, we can live with that. And then what we'll do then, we'll scroll through to sort of like the position I always start my reviews in, which is in around here. And I put the crown back in. We now know it's in a safe position. It's only in the position where it's unscrewed from the case. If I turn the crown away from me, you can charge it. If it's pull the crown towards you, one position, scroll towards you, you can change the date. And you'll see what I mean about how well centered it is in that Cyclops. Really nicely done. And when the time comes, screw it back up. And there we are. That's everything going on there. That's the dial, handed indices, movement, loom. Let me just pop on the wrist quickly, give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. One moment, guys. So this is what it looks like on my wrist. My wrist is a 7¼ inch wrist, just for your reference. And it looks nice on my wrist, doesn't it? Good size. So I think this is going to fit a plethora of wrist sizes due to the proportions. And if you like a slightly smaller watch, which I do, this one's going to be right up your street. I have no doubt about it. Really nice, really nicely done. The clarity is unbelievable. Hands, indices, finishing. Yeah, what's not to like about this watch? But as I always say, at this point, guys, what do you all make of it? Okay, so guys and girls, that would now take me swiftly on to what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you know always start with pants. I like to go on a higher with pucker. So what I think is pants about the watch Again, not a great deal. I don't think Baltany ever do a bad watch, really. Really, really good brand. I love the stuff they're doing. The only thing I'm going to mention, just because I don't think it's in keeping with the rest of the watch, is the lume. So you saw the lume. This watch isn't a lot of money, so I'll bring the price up in front of me. But I do think it could have been executed a little bit better. I've known them on dress watches before to have a better lume, so that's all I'm going to say for pants, really, is I'm going to say the lume. What I think is Pukka, considerably more, which is probably hardly surprising. The first one I'm going to go with is the sapphire crystal. I love me a bit of sapphire crystal, don't I? I always say it. The crystal clarity on Baltany watches is on a different level. I don't think there's another watch brand at the sort of price points of Baltany that offers the clarity they do, I'll be honest. The applied logo, I like it up at the 12. I like the light play. I just like the way it's done. I like the logo, really. It just looks pretty cool. The Cyclops, I'm not a big fan of Cyclopses, but they are, it is applied very well, very centered, exactly where you'd want it, really. The rehaut, I'm not showing the rehaut on this, but they've obviously taken some inspiration from the watch they're homaging by having Baltany. So you've got the logo, then it says Baltany continuously throughout, which is cool. I like that. The size, some people would want a slightly bigger watch, which I know they've done, but I do like the size of this watch. I don't like watches too big. I might be a big fella, but I don't like big watches. The finishing, yeah, I've said before, for me, finishing and the crystal clarities on their watches, plus the movements they use, they're unrivaled, really. I think they're in San Martin territory with their finishing, definitely. And the general look of the watch, you can see why the original of this is so popular. But with them sort of homaging sort of vintage style watches, lots of them are going to be second hand now and not in great condition. So I can see the sort of why these come into their own, really. So they're the things I'm going to say for Pukka. I'm going to go with the sapphire crystal, crystal clarity, applied logo, Cyclops, rehaut, size, finishing, and the general look of the watch. We got there in the end. And that now take me on to, would I recommend this watch? And I mean, it's probably seeming quite obvious given the shopping list again for Pukka, and not very much for pants. So yeah, I'm not going to build the suspense too much. Most definitely, I would definitely recommend it. It's Baltany, innit? Baltany just do exceptional watches. I mean, if you haven't had a Baltany in, please give them a go, and I think you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised. But guys and girls, as ever, please let me know what you think about this watch, more importantly. And maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.